Got a question about asking about the new habitability standards about new, landlords going to have to be providing stoves and refrigerators to tenants starting January 1, 2026. This landlord's asking if they're going to be responsible for doing that starting in January on an existing lease. Hi, my name is Rob Wells. I'm the Landlord War on TikTok and YouTube. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to our videos here. Now, I answered another question similar to this one. This landlord here is a single family, I guess rents out a single family residence, right? Okay. And they're wondering if they're going to have to be responsible for providing a refrigerator or stove if their home doesn't have one. Okay. Well, it's going to depend on the tenancy that's currently in effect right now. Because, for example, the statute for refrigerators, and this is kind of where if a tenant provides their refrigerator, for example, if the lease, for example, this landlord entered into a lease that isn't expired yet and they don't extend it yet, the landlord's not going to be subject to providing that refrigerator, for example, until after the lease expires. Okay. And it's continued, it's extended, it goes like month to month. So if this landlord that's asking me the question here entered into a lease, like say October 1st, 2025, and it doesn't expire to September 30th, 2026, there would be no obligation for the landlord to provide a refrigerator until after the lease expires and then the tenancy is extended, unless this landlord and tenant like amended the lease agreement in the middle of its term. Okay. Now the question will change, or the answer is going to change if, like, let's say this tenancy is currently month to month now, or it's going to become month to month before January 1, 2026. Okay. Let's put up the example of this tenant in this landlord's unit actually has the tenant has their own refrigerator, right? Okay. Under the new carve out for refrigerators under the 1941.1, basically the tenant could give notice to the landlord, hey, I don't want to maintain my own refrigerator anymore. Landlord, please provide me a refrigerator. If the tenancy is going month to month on January 1, 2026, I can't talk today. At that point, I think the landlord would be subject to the new refrigerator law, because the law applies as to refrigerators if the lease is entered into, amended, or extended after January 1, 2026. Okay. But for the refrigerator deal, the landlord has 30 days after the tenant gives the landlord notice that they want the refrigerator. Okay. So it's not instantaneous, that it would require at least a 30-day notice. Okay. I kind of don't see that this landlord here asking the question wouldn't have a stove, because most single family homes have a stove. If, for example, the stove was not operable or something and it's a month to month tenancy, or the lease is extended before January 1, 2026, yes, the landlord's going to have to fix the stove or provide a stove. Okay. In most cases, like I was saying in the video before, usually we would tell our landlords anyway that if your stove broke down and it would, landlord's usually responsible for making sure that's operable anyway, even because it's provided in the lease agreement. So, landlords, I'll just say this: if you're having issues with compliance with this law, or you think, that if you have a question about whether this applies to you or not, my general recommendation is, when in doubt, just, err on the side of caution. I would make sure that those things are operable. But if you really wanted to look at what your legal liability is, and if you're a Northern California landlord in our area, please feel free to reach out to our website below. You can book a free case review. We can discuss more about the little nuances of your tenancy, because every tenancy is going to be a little bit different. Folks, put your comments, questions down below. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Until next time, folks, I'll talk to you then. Thanks.